Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I think it's been some time after we had the lunch, right? Some energy, guys. Good afternoon. Thank you. So my name is Jithesh Chembil. I head the Channels and Alliance for Pure. And it's always better to be a speaker after our customers. Sorty is a big customer for Pure, and so is Micron. And it's a privilege, and thanks, Deepak ji, for giving this opportunity so that we can talk about what Pure is into offer. I like to do a different thought process here because everybody talked about our product. I just want to relate what our country is going through and how storage becomes imperative, and I'll give you some examples of the customer, what customers are using, so that you get a better idea on how we implement and how these guidances which come in from the industry and how we are able to implement that for our customers. So let's take the first thing, which is financial inclusion. Now, what happens in financial inclusion? You need speed, you need scalability, and you need security, right? This is one of the key things which our country is going through. Like you have a lot of opportunities coming in from the financial inclusion. The second most important thing is data center built out, right? This is another key, what you call as pillar where a lot of businesses are coming up. And what happens in data center is everybody needs modern technology. You need a product which is not obsolete. These are the key things which you have for modern data centers. And the other thing is pay as you grow. These are the key things which which are required for these modern data centers. Now, third thing which I want to talk about is the climate change, right? Everybody talks about climate and our commitment to the climate change. Everybody talks about the Paris Convention. So here I want to talk about how are we helping the climate change and supporting the Paris Convention. Let's take one by one. Let's talk about financial inclusion. Now, almost 100% of our systems which are there has 100% uptime. That is the kind of systems which we manufacture, because during the festive times we had systems running 100%. Right? That is what all flash and 100% NVMe kind of systems which Pure brings in helps customers. So this is how we are able to serve customers. You can see the graphs here. This is how we are able to scale up to the customer's need. Now let's talk about the next thing, which is data center. Data center built out, which we said that you need faster performing systems. The system shouldn't be obsolete, and you should have pay as you grow kind of model. Now let's see how we are able to do that. We're able to do that with our evergreen technology. So there is no product obsolescence with Pure. When you buy a Pure system, there is no end of life for our product. That is where if you look at whether it is 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, doesn't matter, right? Once a system is there, you buy a system today. If you do an investment, 3 years down the line, your technologies keep changing. Every 3 years, you can just refresh controllers with the latest controllers available. So your investment which you have done 3 years back is fully protected. This is how the biggest advantage which you get with Pure. Let's take the next point, which is the commitment to Paris Convention. Everybody talks about it, and I'm sure most of the CEOs of your customers, they need to talk about that in their annual general meeting, how much of carbon emissions they have saved. Now, how do we relate that to our customers? See, if you look at most of our competitors, this is how they give the infrastructure. It is like almost 613 cars driven on the road, right? It's almost about 1,142 CO2 emissions. Now, how we are able to reduce it with Pure? Because our system consumes the lowest amount of power. It consumes about 1.7 kilowatts of power, which is less than the microwave oven that you use at your home. So we're able to bring a 91% reduction in the carbon emissions, right? This is what is more important. And if you look at it, is like reducing the 613 cars to about 50 cars. So that's the kind of climate change which you are able to bring. And if you look at on the power consumption, we're giving almost about 91% reduction. For a customer which we were talking about, we're able to bring their entire what you call as electricity bill by about 14 to 15 lakhs. So that is a kind of reduction which you see, about 91% reduction. And the other is on the space, because in our system, we sell a 3U system where I can pack petabytes of capacity. Now, because of that, if my competitor has to give about 588 racks, I can do that in 31 racks. So that much of power, cooling space, you're able to reduce. So this is what we can give it back to the society from a climate change perspective, right? Now, how we are able to do that? We bring in, because of this, we are able to reduce the TCO by 50%. This is live customer example which I'm talking about, 50% reduction in the TCO. And we are able to reduce the rack space by about 14%, power reduction about 10%, the number of calls which are required for a customer visit is also reduced. It's almost about 10 to 30x fewer visits which are required when you install Pure systems. And the beauty of the system is that there is no product obsolescence, right? You bought a system 3 years back, you just keep changing the controllers, you get upgraded to the next technology and next technology. So consolidation becomes easier, and also there is a significant time savings. So these are the real benefits which customers are able to get with Pure. So this is IDC data. Now this gives you an idea that last year they committed that about plus 27% of year-on-year growth was expected in the first half of 2023, which was primarily from the BFSI and financial services. The second key thing which came out by IDC was that BFSI would be the key growth for this year, 2024. And the third thing was AI and Gen AI will be the big growth. You've seen our speakers in the morning, everybody talking about AI, right? So let's quickly delve into each of these points. Now AI, you know that AI is the mantra today. Everybody wants to implement AI into their data centers. Now what happens is that how do I get sustainability? Because sustainability also is a key important factor. When you have AI-based applications, there are a lot of challenges. So what Pure did was, we did a survey of about 500 plus customers. We did a survey of 500 IT buyers. Now, when people talk about AI and things like that, there are a couple of challenges which came in. The first challenge was the need for computing. The moment you increase the AI, the amount of power consumptions, because your number of CPUs you throw at, the power consumptions keeps increasing. So almost 47% of the expense was going towards that. The second thing was companies didn't anticipate so much of energy demand, so they never knew that, because whenever you look at a data center, you know that how much of kilowatts of power which you need to use, so you have an assumption based on that. Now because of the AI adoption, that assumption has gone haywire a bit. And the third thing is, it was bringing a lot of burden on the company from an energy consumption basis, because this was not planned for. And the other third point, which was, these challenges have set back their goals because of AI coming into place. They had set the business, what you call as the cash available to buy certain other equipments, which has taken a backseat. So these were the certain findings which came out from those customer surveys, which is very true, because this is how the world is moving, and AI is inevitable. So how do we do it? How does Pure help this? Because AI is supposed to shaken up the world. Now, with Pure, what we do is we are able to reduce the power consumption to the minimal possible, because we can give a sustainable energy, we can use sustainable energy, and we also can reduce the power consumption almost to about 80%, right? That's the biggest advantage which you get with Pure, because you can consolidate, we take very less amount of rack space and power cooling. So that is the reason for any AI workloads, you should look at Pure. Now, let's evolve our thinking. We talked about what are the mandates, what the country was looking at, what is our consultants and people like IDC talking about. Now let's evolve our thinking. The first thing is that because of all these factors, you should look at a unified network. A network which can take your file and block together, a separate network maybe for your file and object together. So you should have a unified network. The other thing is, you should be able to ease out your automated solutions. Whenever there is a new application comes out, you should be able to easily manage these applications. And the other thing is, you should have a network where there is no downtime, right? When you are able to swap a controller, you don't need to take a backup. With Pure, we had a customer at 4 o'clock in the evening when the customer was running peak at his application. We just swapped the controller, removed the first controller, put the next controller in, and removed the second controller, put the next controller in. And the system was running absolutely fine. So that is where we need to have systems with no downtime, and also a system which can scale based on usage. Because today application is what is changing the whole methodology of every company, right? So you should have an infrastructure which can do that. Now how we can do that is providing a consistent as a service platform, like what you do it in an AWS or in Azure, right? So how do we are able to do that is by giving a storage platform where we give an evergreen architecture, because we are able to service on-premise customers, we're able to service customers who are hosting on hosted platforms and also on public cloud, right? So whether if customers using AWS or Azure, you're able to move data from an on-premise to a cloud. So here you have an evergreen architecture that is a non-obsolete kind of system. A system will never go obsolete. And on top of it, you build a simplified, unified infrastructure, so which can take care of your block needs, your file needs, and object needs. So we have a system which you can actually scale on vertical, which is a scale-up model or a scale-out model. And on top of it, you have an effortless management module, so that you can manage your system remotely, or also look at the system, or if there are multiple systems in your premises, you can easily move data from one system to another system. And this is how we give the storage as a service. So this, in nutshell, is what we are able to give to our customers. So I give you a perspective on what the country is looking at, what are the environment needs today, and how we are progressing and giving this solution out. That's the reason you'll see Pure as a leader in the Gartner space for almost about 11 consecutive years, because the vision of the company is built in that fashion, right? So I had only 15 minutes, so I've come to the last slide here. If there are any questions, I can take, if there is time. Any questions? If not, thank you for your time.